We all know what happened at the Battle of Titan. Iron Man, Doctor Strange, Spider-Man, and the Guardians were inches away from taking the Infinity Gauntlet from Thanos. Pause it right there. Look how close that is. Spidey has it. Damn it, Quill, you should have kept your cool.
No, you did not!
But this scene got us thinking. How would Thanos have fared against our superheroes if he didn't have that fancy glove with the 6 shiny Infinity Stones? Could he still have beaten them? And since the gauntlet looked pretty damaged after the snap, does he even need it in Avengers Endgame? Let's find out. Let's first talk about the differences between Thanos in the comics and in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. As we learned in the books, Thanos is a very unique member of the race of Eternals that colonized one of Saturn's moons, Titan. Eternals are naturally gifted with incredible strength, speed, and durability. But Thanos was born with a rare deviant gene, which not only affected his appearance, i.e. the purple skin, but also his physical and mental abilities. He was far superior to any other Eternal and essentially akin to a mutant on Titan. Thanos' descent into madness took some time, but eventually he would become one of the most powerful beings on Titan. Did I mention he also had an obsession with Mistress Death?
Here and now, I'm about to be one with thee.
Thanks to his genes, some science, and some help from his beloved Death, his skin would develop in a way to allow him to not only absorb cosmic energy on an atomic level, but also then manipulate it as a kinetic force via conscious choice. Crazy, right? Thanos has superhuman strength and endurance, telekinesis and telepathy, and enhanced reflexes and agility. He's also able to endure extreme heat, cold, energy, radiation, and poisons. And if that wasn't enough, Thanos is also immune to aging and disease. In addition to his physical strength, Thanos was born with superhuman intelligence, and would begin to amass even more knowledge thanks to a lot of meditation and mystical practice. Because what else are you gonna do when you're exiled from your people and obsessed with marrying the personification of death? So in terms of power, who does Thanos compare to in the books? In essence, Thanos is as strong as it gets in the Marvel Universe. Sure, he's been beaten, but it takes an awful lot, as in teams and teams of superheroes. Thanos doesn't have traditional supervillain motivations thanks to that whole thing about Mistress Death, and he's usually undone in one way or another when something happens to make him realize that Death will never love him back. Ultimately, he's the reason for his own demise. Historically, he's beaten the mighty Thor and the Incredible Hulk multiple times, and on one occasion, he even beat the God of Thunder despite the fact that the Asgardian was using the Power Stone. Thanos has also walked away from run-ins with the Silver Surfer, Black Bolt, Tyrant, and the Phoenix Force. You could probably throw him in a tier with Odin, Galactus, and the Celestials, but once again, we've seen him defeat just about everyone. The Eternals have yet to make their official MCU debut, so we don't know if cinematic Thanos ties back to them the way he does in the comics. But even if he doesn't, he's no joke. Now, gauging Thanos' power is hard to assess because we didn't see him in action until Infinity War. Prior to IW, he didn't do much except relax in his space lazy boy.
And hundreds more, all on sale.
But from the limited action we've seen, let's assume that Thanos is a bit watered down from the comics version, albeit still extremely powerful. So what evidence do we have of this? Well, first, he's well respected and feared by everyone who knows about him.
Master, you cannot. Thanos is the most powerful being in the universe.
Not anymore.
That's Karath, way back in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1, after Ronan the Accuser decided to betray Thanos and keep the Power Stone for himself. What makes this statement even more significant is that Karath is referring to Thanos before he had possession of any Infinity Stones. That's most likely because he had been wiping out entire populations of planets for many, many years. Which makes me wonder, if Thanos was so feared and menacing, why didn't he just get off his ass and collect those stones much sooner? Why wait so long? Why even make a deal with Loki to bring him the Tesseract? How about just sending the Black Order? Or just go yourself, you lethargic, muscular grimace. I'm getting sidetracked. Another piece of evidence, Infinity War. When the film opens up, Thanos treats Thor like a ragdoll. Remember, that's awakened Thor too, who wreaked all sorts of havoc at the end of Ragnarok. You would assume Thor would put up a better fight. Then it was the Hulk's turn. Now, up to this point in the MCU, we've been told countless times that the Hulk was the most frightening, powerful weapon out there. Even the whole team of superheroes is scared of him throughout this entire movie. But in their Infinity War run-in, Thanos barely breaks a sweat, body slamming the green guy in 46 seconds. What's even more impressive about this is that Thanos isn't even using the Power Stone here and doesn't need any help from the Black Order.
Let him have his fun.
Speaking of the Black Order, here's some more evidence of Thanos' power. His right-hand man, Ebony Maw, praises the Mad Titan throughout the film. Well, that is until he gets sucked out of the spaceship and killed, we think. Despite his anticlimactic death, Ebony Maw was no slouch. His powers seemed to be limitless, and he was able to defeat Doctor Strange one-on-one. After seeing him in action, I wouldn't be surprised if he kicked Thanos' ass. But Maw, as well as Proxima Midnight, Corvus Glaive, and Cole Obsidian, all devoted their lives to Thanos' fight.
Where's the other friend?
He will pay for his life with yours. Thanos will have that stone.
Each of his children gave Earth's mightiest heroes major headaches, yet they were followers of Thanos. This speaks volumes to the power and authority that Thanos commanded over the entire universe. Yet more evidence of Thanos' power can be seen throughout Infinity War, specifically in how he handles the stones themselves.
These stones, it seems, can only be brandished by beings of extraordinary strength.
Remember, you and I can't hold these things in our hands. Neither can Red Skull. Even Star-Lord needed the help from his friends to do it, and he's half celestial. Now, Thanos, on the other hand, treats these stones like M&Ms in his big purple hands before popping them in the gauntlet.
No other being has ever had the might, nay, the nobility, to wield not one, but two Infinity Stones.
And when he goes to use their power, Thanos amazingly survives. Sure, he takes a ton of damage post-snap, and so does the gauntlet itself, but Thanos is still alive to enjoy that nice sunset. We can assume that Thanos might be the only one in the entire MCU that could use the gauntlet and walk away from it. But there has to be some type of limit to Thanos' power, especially without the gauntlet and stones, right? Of course. Let's go back to Space Lazy Boy Thanos before he took matters into his own hands. The key to remember here is that Thanos had to wait for Ragnarok to happen. He actually wasn't so lazy after all. He stayed at bay because Asgard was in charge of protecting the 9 realms, including Nidavellir. You know, the place where Thanos had the gauntlet forged. Is this a plot hole or just a different gauntlet?
Fine. I'll do it myself.
This means that Thanos was unwilling to attack Nidavellir and have the gauntlet made as long as Odin and the Asgardians were protecting it. Perhaps he knew his power wasn't at the same level of someone like Odin and an entire Asgardian army. But then Loki cast a spell on Odin and left him in a New York City retirement home. Loki then took the throne in disguise. Odin's Force spirit joined Yoda, Anakin, and Obi-Wan in Valhalla. Hela showed up for the family reunion and killed a bunch of people, and in the end, Asgard was destroyed by Surtur's sword. It was then that, without hesitation, Thanos headed to Nidavellir, wiped out all the dwarves except for one, and made himself a gauntlet. Here's what we can say based on our findings. Odin, Lightning Eyes Thor, Hela, Surtur, and Galactus, yep, him, seem to be the only ones who might be able to give him a good fight.
All that for a drop of blood.
But we won't know for sure until we see Avengers Endgame. Does the gauntlet still work? Will we see some time travel? If so, perhaps we'll get a chance to see the 6 original Avengers take on the Mad Titan before he had any gauntlet or stones. Hopefully that evens the playing field just enough to save the universe. That's it for this video, guys. Let us know in the comments if you think Thanos could have beaten the Avengers without the gauntlet, and any predictions you might have for the upcoming Avengers Endgame. Thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you soon.